Overdrive, part of the Network 18 group. We do CNBC and several other channels, magazines, websites, things like that.
Good, so, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Right, Fabrice, welcome to Auto Expo 2020. It's a big day for the Auto Expo and for the automotive industry as well. But today here at Renault, what are Renault's plans going forward in the future in India?
As you can see, first of all, we just launched last year Triber, which is a very successful model. And we learned from the past. It means it's very important in India not only to launch cars, but after that to secure a good life cycle management. That's why with Triber we decided to have a very news each year. And the big news for Triber this year is the launch of the two-pedal version, IMT, we will launch in the coming weeks. So this is for a short-term strategy in India. After that, as you know, Triber is coming from a new platform, CMF8+. We are sharing with the Alliance. And of course, we want on this new platform to build some other models. That's what we are doing now. We are preparing, and we will launch a new model until the end of the year based on this platform. Next step after that is the year 23, 24, 25, and then we have to make the transition with the new regulation, CO2 emission here in India. And for that, we will test and we will work on a new EV model to come in the market. That's our activity now in India.
All right, you know, Renault has had a fairly strong growth chart out in the market, from the Duster, which had good numbers, and you had the Quid, which did good numbers. The Triber, surprisingly well as well, because it's a segment that's not very accepted initially. The compact MPV, or the people mover. And Renault changed that. Renault kind of changed the perceptions in that segment, and you managed to break that ceiling that was there. Do well with this product. But you were saying.
Yes, no, because as you said, we are very keen to bring in the market game changers. Everybody told me at the beginning when I arrived here in the region 2 years ago, yes, I don't know if we have to launch an MPV. MPV is not so well, but Triber is not an MPV. Triber is an hybrid car which is offering 7 seats like an MPV, but within 4 meters, which is not obviously the length of an MPV, and with an ultra flexibility. It means at the end, Triber is covering more or less 50% of the market. Why? Because Triber can be a good alternative on BH, B sedan, AH, and so on. Yes. And that's this kind of product for me, which is very interesting because you don't follow just all the others. You just not do a supplementary SUV, but you make a different car. And that's we are very proud from that because it's all the innovation, creativity of the brand, which made the success with Duster a few years ago and Quid.
However, Renault has been in the market for quite some time now, but their product cycles are fairly long for that matter. It's taken quite a long time from the Duster to the Quid to now the Triber. How are you going to compress this? Don't you realize the fact that India is this very dynamic market at this point in time? How are you going to service that?
You're right. This is a lesson learned from the past also. We don't have to be so long. Just in order not to be so long, you have two kind of ways. Or you change the car more rapidly, or you animate your life cycle management, which is also another possibility. Because for me, I think, as you know, you are one of the best worldwide population. It's very hard in India to get awareness, familiarity, brand image, because you are tackling a very, very huge number of population. That's why for me, I'm playing more the continuity, but we should on each car have a level of life cycle management which is much higher than before. And that's what we want to do with Triber, because the possibility to upgrade Triber are still very huge, and that's what we will do in the next coming lineup, where I don't want especially to change the years of the life cycle of the car, but I want to change the level of animation we'll have on the car.
All right. Your product cycle also, like coming back to this now, the Triber is here. The next one is going to be an SUV again. You're coming back into this space, in a
Yes,
way.
but it could be an SUV.
Yeah.
Because
Let's
try to innovate.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll try to innovate.
Fantastic. But my point being that it's the powertrains that matter today in India, because the way policy is changing, with way environmental practices are coming in stronger, emission requirements are coming in stronger. There are lots of challenges that Renault as a manufacturer is also facing. For instance, diesel power plants, for that matter, you cannot, the mass market segments, it's a challenge for manufacturers to provide that.
Yes,
How are you going to counter that effect?
Yes. First of all, we had to make last year a decision regarding our powertrain mix. That's why we decided to bet more on gasoline engine than diesel engine. That was a hard decision, because I know that in India, diesel is in the blood of the Indian consumers, and diesel was also quite efficient in terms of CO2 emissions. But I think we took the challenge to develop new 1-liter powertrain we have here. We will upgrade this powertrain with turbo, and the most important, if you bet on a few reduced number of engines, is that you can localize it. Because if you want to be competitive in India, you have to localize. And the most difficult localization in terms of parts in the automotive is the engine. It means, for me, our choice is clear. We want to bet on gasoline turbo, gasoline with 2 pedals offers, and after that, next transition, EV. Voilà. That's where we will go in terms of product strategy for the next years in India.
Your EV strategy, however, globally is a very, very strong plan. You've got several products that are out and they're doing very successfully. Zoe is one of the largest selling products in Europe in the hatch segment. In fact, in several segments, and especially in the electric space. But India, you still say that you're almost 2 years away. This morning's presentation said almost 2 years away from electrification, or at least Renault providing the solutions. And of course, the Quid platform being utilized for that as well. But why such a long time? Why not quicker?
First of all, when I see what are the EV volumes this year in India, almost zero. Where we could be very rapid, importing built up and saying, okay, we are selling EV. But the good way to sell EV in India is to tackle the heart of the market. If you want to tackle the heart of the market, you have to be competitive in price. If you have to be competitive in price, you have to be localized. And for that, you have to work, because localization will not come like that. For me, the strategy in EV, and we have very good reasons to believe that we will do a very good job. First of all, because we can build EV on our existing lineup, and Quid is a good example. We can benefit from the experience of Europe and China regarding that, and that's why you can see a Quid KZ somewhere. And for that, why I say 1 year, 2 years, because before to push the button, I want to be sure that our level of localization secure our competitiveness. I could do that with built up, but it will not be at the right price, and the volumes will not be significant. That's why I prefer to take time and to come when we will be competitive and when regulation will be clear, because in terms of custom duties and so on regarding batteries, we have still to get benefits if we want to export the EV, because EV made in India should be EV which can be exported also. And that's why regulation and import duties should be clear from the authorities. And last point, of course, the infrastructure in India still to be developed. Voilà. Yeah. That's why I prefer to take time to concentrate on the heart of the market, but it's not because we take time that we are not working, and localization of EV is key for us.
Okay. Another part with the whole electrification plan is because you're doing it on the Quid, for that matter. I mean, does that democratize the use of that in the other models as well? Triber, can we see that as an electric as well in the future?
But I think the good strategy is really to electrify existing lineup. Donc it could be, but I would say first priority will be, of course, Quid, taking into account our experience on this model.
All right. Fabrice, thank you so much for talking to us. It's been a pleasure.
Very interesting
and
question.
We're looking forward to Renault's future here.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you. Thanks for your question.
Very
interesting.